Hello everyone, and welcome to another installment of Tim and Tom's Film Nights, where every Tuesday night we two old codgers get together like a pair of grumpy old men and engage in a lively debate about some classic, underrated, or just plain terrible film that has somehow managed to garner a cult following over the years. Tonight we have the honor, or perhaps it would be more accurate to say the misfortune of dissecting Stanley Kubrick's epic science fiction masterpiece 2001, A Space Odyssey. Tom, being the self-proclaimed Kubrick tard, has insisted we subject ourselves to this cinematic experiment. So grab your interstellar travel packs and let's boldly go where no viewer has ever wanted to go before. Thomas, being the American he is, I'm sure you've seen this film 1,000 times over, perhaps even in theaters back in the dark ages when it was first released. So how does it hold up to your esteemed cinematic standards? Well, I'll give it that much credit, at least. The cinematography was stunningly beautiful and the special effects were groundbreaking for their time. But as for the plot itself, sigh honestly, Tom. A monkey could have written a more engaging storyline than this bloated, self-indulgent excuse of a film. It's like Kubrick got bored halfway through and decided to just throw random scenes together, hoping something would stick. And don't even get me started on that birth sequence. I mean, excuse me, ahem. It was interesting.
Now, Timmy boy, you gotta give old Stanley the benefit of the doubt. He was trying something new here, you know. A whole new way of telling a story through images and music without all the pesky dialogue and plot points getting in the way. And as for that famous birth scene, I mean, it's a metaphor, right? It's about birth of mankind or something like that. Plus, it's gotta be better than that paint-drying documentary you made me watch last week.
Snort. Yes, the legendary A Week in the Life of a British Pensioner's Fingernails. I stand by my statement, Tom. Cough anyway, moving on. Let's talk about this mysterious monolith that seems to be guiding these astronauts and their supercomputer friend Hal. What was the deal with that thing anyway?
Well, according to Arthur C. Clarke's novelization, which is actually more than half of the actual script, the monolith is a sort of alien beacon left behind by some advanced race as a kind of cosmic hello. Fellow Earthlings, you know, like finding a Starbucks cup in a Star Wars scene. As for what it actually does or represents, I'm still not entirely sure myself, Timmy boy. It's Kubrick. You gotta dig deep into the director's subconscious and deconstruct every frame of a film like it's, the Da Vinci Code.
Eye roll, you Americans and your endless need for complexities where none exist. Anyway, moving on. I do remember one thing that did actually happen in this movie. The astronauts land on that giant floating. What shame, Jiggy, and discover an alien ruins. Care to enlighten us, Tom?
Ah, yes. The famous monolith wink-wink ruin. According to some fan theory I read on Reddit last night, while you were probably reading Shakespeare's sonnets in the original Latin, these ruins are actually remnants of an ancient alien civilization that once visited Earth eons ago and left behind clues for us lowly humans to decipher. You know, like finding a Rosetta Stone in your backyard.
Sigh. Oh, Tom. If only life were so simple as some lost alien civilization leaving breadcrumbs for us to follow. But alas, we're mere mortals, doomed to endure the unrelenting mundanity of our own creation. So, in conclusion, 2001. Space Odyssey is a pretentious, self-indulgent, and downright boring waste of celluloid. I give it a generous 3 out of 10 stars solely for the beautiful cinematography and that one good scene with the monkeys and the bones.
Well, Timmy boy, as we say in my home state of Texas, you can't fix stupid. But seriously, folks, I guess beauty is in the eye of the beholder. While I personally find this film a masterpiece of cinematic storytelling, it's hard to argue with a Brit like Timothy who's never left the confines of his cozy London flat. So, if you're a fan of long, uninterrupted shots of space, accompanied by some haunting classical music, this is definitely the film for you. As for me, I'll be watching Star Wars: A New Hope for the 1000th time. Thankful that George Lucas had the good sense to actually include a plot in his science fiction epics.
Well, Tom, since we've delved into the music of spacefaring films, I cannot help but mention the iconic soundtrack composed by none other than my old friend and neighbor, Arthur C. Clarke. The score is a masterpiece of its own, blending classical and electronic elements seamlessly to evoke feelings of wonder, awe, and perhaps just a tinge of existential dread. My favorite track from the soundtrack has to be The Dawn of Man, which perfectly captures the majesty of our ancestors' first encounter with technology in the form of that famous bone-shaped space swan thingamabob.
Ah, yes, Timmy boy, you're referring to the monolith, which is said to be a recurring motif throughout the film, representing mankind's quest for enlightenment or something deep like that. Anyway, moving on to more fun facts about this classic flick. Did you know that Stanley Kubrick actually shot some of the space sequences in his own backyard using a giant model of the Earth? And for those shots where the spaceship Discovery is flying super close to Jupiter's moons, those were actually just paintings of the moons projected on a screen and then shot from a very, very, very close distance.
Well, I never. But then again, I suppose we should expect nothing less from a director with the vision of Kubrick. So, Tom, now that we've talked about space and music, let's turn our attention to the one aspect of this film that seems to polarize audiences like no other. The infamous monkey scene. What do you make of it? Is it a brilliant commentary on the nature of mankind's relationship with technology, or just Kubrick having a little fun at our expense?
Well, Timmy boy, as someone who once accidentally set his favorite record player on fire while trying to make a cup of tea, I think we can agree that Stanley was always one for a good prank. But seriously, the monkey scene is actually based on an actual event in human history. Sort of, you see, there was this famous archaeological dig back in the early 20th century, led by some guy named Dawson or something like that, where they found evidence of ancient tools and bones being used together by some primordial Homo sapien. Kubrick just took this idea and monkeyed around with it a bit, pun intended.
Ah, yes, the famous Dawson's monkeys theory. I remember now. They also found some ancient cave paintings depicting a figure holding space wand and wearing an astronaut suit made of animal skin, didn't they? But in all seriousness, Tom, what do you think this whole monkey business is trying to say about the nature of technology and its role in shaping our species?
Well, according to some rather questionable internet theories I read, last night while drunk dialing my ex-wife's newest boyfriend, this scene is actually a commentary on how technology can both elevate us as a species and potentially doom us all in the process. You know, like how we now have smartphones that can literally hold the entirety of human knowledge at our fingertips, but also accidentally start nuclear warheads by pressing the wrong emoji. So, Timmy boy, what do you think? Are we just monkeys with space wands? Or is there some deeper meaning to be found in Kubrick's cosmic allegory?
Well, Tom, I must admit the soundtrack for 2001, A Space Odyssey, is indeed a masterpiece. The combination of classical and electronic elements creates an eerie yet captivating atmosphere that perfectly complements the film's otherworldly setting. But let me ask you this. What do you think is the significance of the music in relation to the story being told? Is it just there to enhance the visuals, or does it carry a deeper meaning as well?
That's an interesting question, Timmy boy. I personally believe that the music plays a crucial role in conveying the film's themes and mood. You see, 2001, A Space Odyssey, is not just about space travel or advancements in technology. It's also an exploration of human existence, our place in the universe, and our relationship with the unknown. The music helps to underscore these philosophical questions by creating a sense of wonder, awe, and even unease as we journey through space with the characters. It's almost like a character itself guiding us through Kubrick's cosmic odyssey.
That's a very insightful analysis, Tom.
I must say,
You're not only an expert on science fiction, but also have quite the ear for music. Speaking of which, did you know that the famous also Sprach Zarathustra theme, which was composed by Richard Strauss and is perhaps one of the most recognizable pieces in film history, wasn't originally intended to be used in a space movie?
Really, Timmy boy? Tell me more. I didn't know that.
Well, according to legend, Stanley Kubrick was inspired by the music while watching the 1968 Olympic Games in Mexico City. He noticed how the grandiose and triumphant nature of the music seemed to fit perfectly with his vision for the film. So he reached out to Strauss's widow and convinced her to grant him the rights to use the piece in the movie. The rest, as they say, is history.
What a fascinating story. It just goes to show that sometimes the most unexpected inspirations can lead to the greatest works of art. And speaking of art, I can't help but wonder what Arthur C. Clarke thought about the soundtrack. After all, he was quite close with Kubrick during the making of the film. Do you think his input played a role in shaping the musical landscape of 2001? A Space Odyssey?
Well, Tom, we can't talk about a space film without mentioning the actors who bring these iconic characters to life. Firstly, we have here Dahlia as Dr. David Bowman, the stoic and somewhat reserved lead role. Dahlia brings an air of intellectual detachment to the character, which is fitting for someone tasked with exploring the vast unknowns of space. His performance in the film's climactic moments, where he confronts his own mortality, are hauntingly powerful.
And then there's Gary Lockwood as Dr. Hayward Hay Floyd, the more down-to-earth and relatable of the two astronauts. Lockwood perfectly captures the mix of wonderment and trepidation that his character feels throughout their cosmic adventure. His friendship with Bowman provides a grounding element to the otherwise ethereal storyline.
As for the supporting cast, we have Douglas Rain as HAL 9000, the sentient supercomputer that guides the astronauts through their journey. Rain's cold, emotionless delivery of Hall's lines adds a chilling layer of artificial intelligence to the film. His performance in the infamous Hey, Dave scene remains one of cinema's most haunting moments.
And lastly, there's the enigmatic presence of the monolith, which, while not technically an actor per se, plays a crucial role in driving the plot forward. Its mysterious appearance and disappearances throughout the film leave viewers with more questions than answers, adding to the overall sense of wonder and intrigue that is 2001, A Space Odyssey.
So, Tom, what do you think? Do you agree with my assessment of the actors' performances in this classic science fiction masterpiece? Are there any other notable performances or character portrayals that stand out to you?
Well, Timmy boy, as we mentioned earlier, 2001. A Space Odyssey has had a profound impact on countless science fiction films and TV series that followed in its wake. One movie that owes a debt to Stanley Kubrick's masterpiece is Ridley Scott's groundbreaking science fiction classic. Alien, the film's iconic facehugger alien creature and its life cycle were directly inspired by the infamous birth scene in 2001, A Space Odyssey. Another movie that can trace its roots back to 2001. A Space Odyssey is Steven Spielberg's groundbreaking science fiction epic, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. While not a direct copycat, you can definitely see the influence of Kubrick's masterpiece in the film's depiction of alien technology and the religious undertones that permeate both stories. In terms of TV shows, there's no denying the impact of 2001. A Space Odyssey on futuristic series like Star Trek and its various spin-offs. Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, was reportedly inspired by Kubrick's film to create his own vision of the future filled with advanced technology and interstellar adventures. And let's not forget about the classic animated series Space. The Final Frontier, while it may have only lasted for 2 seasons, its futuristic space exploration storylines and alien encounters owe a debt to Kubrick's timeless masterpiece. So, Timothy, what do you think? Are there any other films or TV shows that you can think of that were influenced by 2001? A Space Odyssey?
Well, Tom, it's been a long journey through the cosmic expanse of 2001, A Space Odyssey, but we finally reached its conclusion. While I personally found parts of the film to be a bit slow and incomprehensible, I can't deny its impact on the science fiction genre and cinema overall. Kubrick's masterful direction and the groundbreaking special effects for its time still hold up today, proving that timelessness is indeed one of mankind's greatest achievements. As for the story itself, well, I'm still processing it all, much like Hall's memory core overheating.
And that's the beauty of art, Timmy boy. It's open to interpretation. Some might see it as a critique on technology and its potential threats, while others might find deeper meaning in mankind's eternal quest for knowledge and understanding of our place in the universe. But what I can say for sure is that 2001, A Space Odyssey, is a cinematic masterpiece that will continue to inspire generations of filmmakers, scientists, and space enthusiasts alike. So, folks, we've reached the end of our own Odyssey with Stanley Kubrick's science fiction classic. What are your thoughts on 2001, A Space Odyssey? Did you find it a mind-bending journey into the unknown? Or did you just want to press the eject button and be done with it all? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with your friends and fellow space explorers. And don't forget to join us next time for another thrilling adventure through the cosmic realms of film and television.